Okay, so today we're going to do two-step equations. We are going to have to undo addition and subtraction first. That's going to help us remove our constant term. Remember, the constant is just the number. And then you're going to take multiplication or division to remove your coefficient. Remember, coefficient is that number in front of your letter. Okay, so if I look at problem number 1, I got 6x plus 8 equals 50. I need to undo that plus 8. Think about the opposite. The opposite of adding 8 would be subtract 8. We have to do it from both sides because if you do it to the left, you've got to do it to the right. So I would say 6x plus 8 minus 8 equals 50 minus 8. When I go to combine my like terms, the 8's cancel and I have 6x equals 50 minus 8 gives me 42. Now, if I'm looking at what's going on between my 6 and my x, they're side by side, nothing's in between them. That operation would be multiplication, so I have to do the opposite, and the opposite of multiplication would be divide, okay? We're dividing by that number in front of your x. So divide both sides by 6. 6 divided by 6 leaves me with 1x, which is what we want, and 42 divided by 6 gives me 7. Remember, you can plug that 7 into your original equation and see if it gives you a true statement. Does 6 times 7 plus 8 give me 50? Yes. So I'm good. The next problem, we have, once again, adding. We have negative 4x plus 9. So the opposite of adding would be subtract. So we want to subtract 9 from both sides. 13 minus 9 equals negative 4x plus 9 minus 9. Combine those like terms. 13 minus 9 gives me 4. And then if I combine over on that right-hand side, a positive 9 minus 9 gives me 0, so I'm just left with negative 4x. Once again, what's going on between your negative 4 and your x? Well, they're side by side. Nothing is in between them, so that would be multiplication. The opposite of multiplication would be division, so we want to divide both sides by that negative 4. So 4 divided by negative 4 gives me a negative 1, and then negative 4 divided by negative 4 gives me a 1x. You can write it as negative 1 equals x, or you could flip that around and say x equals negative 1. It's really up to you. All right, if I look at number 3, I notice that I have a fraction in there, which also means division. Remember that from the day before. I also have subtraction going on with that 7. So I got to think, okay, what's the opposite of my subtraction? Well, that would be addition. So the opposite of negative 7 would be a positive 7. We want to add 7 to both sides. When I do that and I combine my like terms, these are going to cancel and leave me with just x divided by 2. 9 plus 7 gives me 16. And then if I'm trying to get the x all by itself, I have division going on. So I've got to get rid of division with the opposite operation, which would be multiplication. And I want to multiply by that number that's in my denominator, all right? So there's a 2 in that denominator. I want to come multiply both sides by 2. Those cancel. X is going to equal 16 times 2, which is 32. Now my very last problem, problem number 5, notice that you have 3/5 x plus 22. We've got to get rid of that plus 22 first. So opposite of adding 22 would be subtracting 22. So I want to subtract 22 from both sides. When I combine my like terms, those cancel and leave me with 3/5 x equals 28 minus 22 would be 6. Now, if you remember from the one-step solving equations day, we have that fraction, and anytime you have a fraction in front of your x, you've got to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Reciprocal just means that you flip your fraction. So 3/5, if I flip that, that's going to make it 5/3. So that's what I want to multiply both sides by. I want to come and say, multiply the left by 5/3. Multiply the right by 5/3. When I do that, these cancel and give me x equals 6 times 5 gives me 30, and 1 times 3 is just 3. 30 divided by 3 is 10. So my final answer would be 10.